Piston Fanatic. I am your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Pistons fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. Well, Happy New Year, and please like and subscribe. Thank you for listening. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Pistons getting crushed by the Houston Rockets, 136 to 113. We've now lost one in a row. We're going to talk about Go Blue, hail to the victors. Michigan beats Alabama 27 to 20 in overtime. We're also going to talk about Cam Whitmore. We're going to talk about the Thompson twins, and how they did tonight. And we're going to talk a little bit about the G League and some potential draft picks for this coming spring. So let's get started with, this game tonight was, we didn't play great. We didn't play that great in the first half. And a lot of things went wrong, including Cade had a terrible night shooting. And he was like 2 for 11 in the first half. And but with 9 minutes left in the third quarter, so 3 minutes into the third quarter, it was 66-62. We were down by 4 points. And then they went on this onslaught and it ended up being 99 to 70 at one point. So during that stretch, they just completely destroyed us. And that's when the game was completely decided. And, that was tough to handle and it's disappointing. And who knows how to blame, everybody thought we were going to come out maybe and with some confidence and some pep in our step after ending the streak. But I just think when things started going wrong and, Cade, they put Jabari Smith on him. He's 6'11" and he can move his feet really well. But he got fouled also and, he's been getting calls. But, Cade has been on a tear. He has been on a tear like an NBA All-Star for the last month. And he hasn't been turning it over as much. And he's been shooting really efficient percentages. And he's been as good as anybody in the NBA for the last month. And tonight he was bad. So that, I was going to say that tonight before I knew how bad he was going to do that. Don't expect him to, he's going to have some stretches where he's going to be bad. All players do. So, but the 18 turnovers led to 33 points. So that was another big thing because we weren't that far apart in the, we shot almost 50% from the floor and they shot 56. We shot even better than they did a little bit from the 3-point line, like 45 to 43. And free throws were pretty close. Rebounds were pretty close. But it was the turnovers in that third quarter. And they have the Alfred Sengun, that's their big guy that's just came out of he was good as a rookie. He did a little bit better the next year, but he has been just, this is his third year and now he's playing like an all-star and he had 26 points and 9 assists. And so he really hurt us. But anyway, Michigan, I don't like Alabama and I hate Alabama to tell you the truth. And I was so disappointed the whole game because we just completely outplayed them. For once, we were clearly the better team. I felt like, this game, and I thought, first half we pretty much dominated, but then it still ended up being close. But obviously special teams are part of the game, but you just don't expect your special teams. We fumbled a punt and they got great field position and they got their first score in the first half off the fumbled punt. We missed an extra point. We missed a chip shot field goal that would have made a huge difference. And they kicked 2 50-yarders, and our punter was not good. Our punter punted really short punts, and their punter buried us. And so we lost the field position game. I still give our guys a lot of credit. We were down. We were down by 7 points with 4 minutes left, and we had to take the ball down the field. And there was a play. I don't know how many yards we had to go. It was 4th down, and we had 3 timeouts left. So we could have punted and tried to use our timeouts, but Harbaugh went for it. We got the first down, and we threw a bunch of good passes and got the ball down there and scored. And they still had a minute 32 to come back and try to kick a field goal. And their field goal kicker could kick really far field goals. But it just was a great relief when, again, we didn't play our best. The special teams really struggled, and we didn't, and then the second half, we couldn't get the offense going, but we were running it twice. In the first half, I thought Michigan mixed up the run and the pass really well. In the second half, we'd run 2 times. Of course, we didn't have good field position because of the punting game, but we would run it twice and then try to pass it. And twice we had on 3rd down, we had a pass that was right to the receiver, and it would have been a first down both times, and they dropped it or it went through their hands. So that was tough. And then in overtime, um, we ran the ball right down their throat and scored the winning touchdown, and then we were able to stop them late in the game. So anyway, I'm excited for them. I'm confident that that was a relief and that Michigan's going to play a lot better, and it's going to be a tough opponent in the finals. But I just am relieved because this has been a tough weekend, a tough few days for us Michigan fans, us Detroit fans, or whatever you want to call us. The Lions got screwed. I mean, that's one of the worst calls in the world that happened to the Lions when number 68 went up to the official and was right in front of him, telling him he was checking in to be an eligible receiver, and then later 70 came up at the end, and anyway, it was a colossal mistake by the official, and we should have won the game. We did win the game, and then, but it's just Detroit versus everybody. And then the Pistons Saturday, they win the game, and that was a big relief that they broke the streak. And then we had that emotional game with University of Michigan tonight, and then the Pistons get crushed, and so it was just quite a 3 days there for us sports fans. So. And we gave up 47 points in the third quarter, but a lot of it was just in that one stretch from the 9-minute mark to the 3-minute mark. We just really got, just got destroyed. But anyway, um, the Twins, this game was about the Twins. They had the twin bobbleheads, and it was sad for me because during the season, Ausar has been doing way better. Of course, he has gotten taken out of the rotation pretty much by Monty, and so he hasn't hardly got to play the last half of the season or the last 15 games or whatever. But Ausar's played in 32 games. He's averaged 25 minutes. He was averaging 30 minutes a game, and he shot 46%. So he's had some injuries, but Amen's only played in 11 games, so he's been injured some. In some games, I don't think he played, probably because the coach didn't want to play him. But he's only averaged 14 minutes a game, and Ausar's averaged 25 minutes a game. And Amen's shot 39%, Ausar shot 46%. So we can't play Ausar because he's shooting 46%. But we can play Isaiah Livers because Isaiah Livers is shooting 28%, and he's a floor spacer because he is shooting 25% on threes for the season. And so obviously I don't like that. So I'm a little frustrated about losing so bad, and so sorry Isaiah Livers, but I'm not happy that that Ausar doesn't get to play. And so, and both of them are terrible on threes. Amen's shooting 12%, Ausar's shooting 15%. And again, Ausar's played significantly more minutes. He's averaging 7.2 rebounds, and Amen's averaging 3.2, and Ausar's averaging 2.2 assists, and Amen's 1.4. And he's also doing a lot better in the steals and the blocks and everything too. So, and Amen's averaging 4.5 points a game, and Ausar's averaging 9.2 points a game, even though that's gone down drastically in the last 10 or more games. So, Ausar said he wanted to dunk on his brother. That would be what he would really want to do. He said, I've done it before, but they don't, they've hardly played against each other, but it was pretty cute. They got to be captains. They got to go out on the court together. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time here talking about Cam Whitmore. So you can go back, I have a lot of new listeners, but back in the draft process, when we were going through the draft processes, and everybody that's analyzes the draft can take victory laps, and guys go up and down. Like Sengun, he some people were questioning how good was he ever going to be after his rookie year. He was okay, but was he going to be a real player? Now everybody's saying he's an all-star. He's one of the best players in the league. So guys can go up, and Scotty Barnes, he had was rookie of the year. His second year, everybody was down on him and said he had a mediocre year. Then this year, everybody's praising him and saying he's a great player and he's a franchise player. So you see it all the time. So you can't really tell, but usually after 3 years or so, you can kind of tell how a player is. But everybody wants to take a victory lap when their guy's looking good. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I wanted Cam Whitmore in the draft, and he hasn't hardly got to play. So I listen to podcasts to get ready for my podcast. I listen to like the Rockets podcast. I've listened to other podcasts for like the Nets to see who they might want to trade and what they think the trade market is, or the Hawks. I've listened to all those different podcasts from other teams so I can get information to share with you guys. But Cam Whitmore, these guys on the podcast for the Lockdown Rockets, one of their New Year's resolutions they want was to get Cam Whitmore more playing time. So the game prior to this, they played the Suns. Cam Whitmore, he's 3 for 4 on threes, and he has 12 points and not very many, 18 minutes. And then the game before that, he was 6 for 12. So he had 14 points in only 14 minutes. And they've got some guys, some forwards that they have an overload of wings, which we have not enough wings. They have too many wings. So and Dylan Brooks was hurt, so he didn't play tonight. So, but anyway, they have too many, and so Cam Whitmore hasn't been getting to play, and maybe Adoka doesn't think he plays good enough defense. But whatever, he played in the summer league. He was MVP of the summer league. He was played in the G League. He's averaged like 26 points, 4.5 assists, shot 40% on threes, and he just dominated. And that's good competition. But tonight, Cam Whitmore, 7 minutes. What does he do? He walks onto the court and he nails the three. And then next possession, he hammers a dunk on us. And so in 1 minute, he had 5 points, a three, 1 for 1 on threes, and a dunk. But he ended up with 4 for 5 from the floor, 1 for 1 on threes, 4 rebounds, 9 points, and 2 dunks in 7 minutes. So that's Cam Whitmore. So anyway, I don't know. He slid. A lot of people let him slide. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. There was lots of different speculation that it was something to do with his knee. And again, I go based on what I've seen, on my limited access that I have. I don't get to interview the players. I don't. There's a lot I don't get to see and know, but based on what I knew and the fact that he could shoot, that's what I wanted him. That's why, I'm going to talk about some draft picks. But first, yeah, I'll go ahead and talk about these guys. So there's this guy, Zachary Richard, and I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I'll learn it before the draft process. There's a long ways to go before the draft. But he's 6'9". He's from France. He has great feel for the game. He's a really good passer. He's unselfish. He can defend. He's not a freak athlete, but he defends good. He's only 18 years old, so he's going to get a lot better. His dad was a pro in Europe, and he's shooting 47% on threes, which, of course, these guys there's a lot of fluctuation when you see these guys, even for college players, because they don't play as many games. So they can have a hot streak and a cold streak, and their percentages can go really up and down. But he's been compared to Franz Wagner. So we would take Franz Wagner. So that remains to be seen, but he's more of right now, like a small forward, but he's 6'9" and he can shoot. So whoever we take, whoever we sign, whoever we trade for, we need guys that can shoot. That's just what we need. So there's the Alex Sarr that I like, that he's a phenomenal defender. He's 7'1", long wingspan, great motor on defense, great shot blocker, can switch out on guards and stay in front of them. And he's real good, but his shots questionable, so we got to wait and see how that plays out by spring. And there's Matis Belisis or something that plays for the G League Ignite, and he can shoot, but he has shot poorly so far for the G League Ignite. Then there's Cody Williams. He's the brother of Jalen Williams, that plays, a player I just love, that plays for OKC. And his little brother plays for Colorado, and he scored 20 points in each of the last 2 games in college. So there are some guys to look forward to. I was going to talk about a little bit about the G League. Some people ask, where's Stanley Moody? One of my listeners did, but he's been struggling recently shooting the three. He's only like 30% on threes. But Jared Rhoden has been one of the best players in the G League, and he was on our team, and he played. I know at least he played in the preseason with us, but he's averaging 23 a game, 6.4 rebounds, 3 assists. He's shooting 50% from the field and 45% on threes, 5 attempts and out of 5 attempts a game. So that's a significant amount. And then there's Malcolm Cazalan that's shooting 43% on threes and 6 attempts. So that's a little look at the G League. So now I guess we'll run through the Pistons. One thing I did learn about the Pistons, we're leading the NBA in dunks. And I predicted that. I have a podcast somewhere back, I don't know if it was in the summer or wherever, I predicted that we were going to lead the league NBA in dunks. And right now we're leading the NBA in dunks with over 6 a game. So I think Bogey has played 27 minutes tonight. He was 4 for 11, 3 for 6 on threes, 3 for 4 on free throws, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 turnovers. So he's had 4 turnovers in like 3 of the last 4 or 5 games. He's had at least 4 turnovers. So that's not bogey-like. So I didn't get Knox's stats down. Sorry. Duran played only 22 minutes, but he had 5 fouls. But he was 6 for 7 and 13 rebounds in only 22 minutes. So that was great. But he had a hard time guarding Sengun, and I know Monty said it wasn't really his fault that the team put him in some bad positions, but he had 12 points. Cade again, he just struggled. He's been playing a heavy load of minutes. He's 7th in the NBA in minutes played. Played 30 minutes still tonight, 3 for 16, and they hacked him a bunch of times, but his shot was flat. His arm went out, and he was 0 for 5 on threes, so 0 for 1 from the free throw line. 1 rebound, 10 assists. He had 10 assists. He had 6 assists in the first half, but he had 4 turnovers, 6 points. So, like I said, he was due to have a bad game, and who knows? We got to go get ready to go play in Utah on Wednesday. And it's always tough to play in Utah, and they're going to have Markkanen's going to be ready to play. And um, I know I'm all over the place on this podcast, but hang in there with me. Ivey was terrific tonight, so I should have started out with that. Ivey was the brightest thing about that happened tonight. He only played 26 minutes. He played less than some other guys, and less than Cade for sure. But he was 6 for 10. And he was 3 for 4 on threes, and so that was great. Last game he shot the 3 really well, and so tonight he shot the 3 really well. So that could be turning things around for him. 4 for 4 on free throws. Again, he's been a little erratic there. 6 rebounds, but he had 4 offensive rebounds. So the last 3 games he's gotten 4 or 5 offensive rebounds because it's a thing. It's not an accident. Sometimes offensive rebounds come to you accidentally, but when him and Duran get them, they're going after him. And this is kind of a new thing for Ivey. He hasn't always done this, but every shot, because partway we don't get him the ball enough. He doesn't get enough shots. He doesn't get enough touches, and I think that's in control. The coach can do some things about that. He had 2 turnovers, but 19 points. Really good game for him. Livers, 13 minutes. He was 1 for 2. He had 0 rebounds, 0 assists. 0 everything else. 2 points, but he had guys drive by him again. So Ausar, 24 minutes, 2 for 4, 1 for 2 on free throws, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, 4 points. So not a terrible game, but it's sad for me because his brother had a better game. So, and I know that's they had lots of family and friends that were there at the game, and so I was hoping that he would have a good game. Hopefully, the 12th we play the Rockets again. Hopefully, it's a different story, and hopefully, Ausar again. He played 24 minutes tonight. He's been only playing like 12 minutes, but the only reason he played 24 minutes tonight was because it was a blowout, not because Monty wanted to give him more minutes. But he just got to give him more minutes, no matter what. 30 minutes a game. The rest of the season, we got 49 more games left. We have a lot of time for these guys to get better and find out things about themselves. But Ausar and Ivey, they need to get better. They need to play. So another bright spot was Burks. So he, had a pretty good game last game, but 23 minutes tonight, 6 for 11, 3 for 6 on threes, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block, and a steal, and 21 points. 21 points in only 23 minutes. So that was good. And Sasser, that poor guy, he's not gotten to play. The only reason he played tonight was because of the blowout. And this happened even in the preseason where he gets in there, we're getting blown out, and then he comes in there and he lights it up. And he's had a bunch of these games where he's played like 6 or 8 minutes and he goes 2 for 2, or tonight he was 3 for 3, 2 for 2 on threes. And it was cool because we're playing in Houston, and that's where he played for 4 years in college at Houston. So was happy for him. And he was 1 for 2 on free throws, he had 1 assist, 1 steal, 9 points. And finally, Marvin Bagley came back from the dead. He hadn't played in I don't know how many games, but he did play tonight, 8 minutes. He's 1 for 2, 2 assists, no rebounds. Wiseman played 16 minutes, 1 for 1, and he had 4 rebounds and 2 for 2 on free throws. So tough game for our Pistons, but we do have great night that Michigan won that playoff game. We just got to turn around. We got to play they got to get up in the morning and fly to Utah. And Utah is a really tough place to play. Their fans are their record is always way better at home than on the road because they have really great fans. And then we got to fly to the Warriors, and they're due. The Warriors have been struggling quite a bit. So we'll see what happens there in those 2 games. And that'll be on Friday. So anyway, I had a lot more to cover tonight. I had a lot more stuff prepared for you, but I'm not going to use it. I just was a disappointing night for our Pistons, but please subscribe and like, Be the reason that somebody feels cared for and listened to, and go Pistons.